Good evening and a very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's session titled Women and Financial Independence, presented in association with ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. Now, the number of female investors has been steadily rising in our country in the past few years. The younger generation of women, especially who have had improved access to education, are pushing the boundaries and gaining financial independence as they pave their way into the country's workflows. Now, women have broken the glass ceiling in all spheres of life, from politics to education. But Indian working women still lag behind their male counterparts regarding investing and financial decision making. Only 7% of women in India invest independently through self learning, as per a Women and Money Power 2022 survey. However, there has been a surge in females investing in stocks and mutual funds post the COVID 19 pandemic. In fact, it has often been highlighted that women investors consistently outperform their male counterparts, perhaps owing to the fact that they spend more time researching their investment choices. Research has also revealed that women also take on less risk compared to their male counterparts, but are not completely risk averse, and that makes for better investing outcomes. This Women's Day, as we celebrate the youngsters confidently taking charge of their finances, both earnings and investments, let's chart a course for the older generations also to make their foray into the world of saving and investing. I'm your host Gautam Srinivasan, and joining me in this conversation is Snehal Ajay Dixit, business head of the mutual funds division at BSE India. And Snehal will tell us more about the investment choices available for women and some do's and don'ts to keep in mind while managing their finances. Snehal, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to a very interesting conversation with you today. So without further delay, let's get this talk started. My first question to you about this winds of change. Are they drifting towards more women investors now coming into the market? Do you see a rise in the number of women taking charge of their finances over the past few years? And if so, what would you attribute this to?
Thank you, Gautam. Thank you, everybody. And a very, very happy International Women's Day to each and everybody. Yes, of course, there are a lot of changes in the women's psychology as far as the investments are concerned. And I would say initially, women used to only invest into the fixed income, especially that is also they used to save in their house, in their kitchen dabbas, or they used to invest into gold, or they used to invest at the best into the fixed deposits. But over the period of time, the learning, education have gone up. Uh, Women have started working, they have become professionals. Obviously, the social media, different handles have impacted their knowledge, skill sets. They are learning from many YouTubers, many advisors, distributors, financial planners. Families are, while investing now, families are taking decision rather than only men are taking decision in the family about investment. So slowly the transformation is happening. Of course, the transformation is currently happening maybe to the tier 1 cities and a town, but yes, the transformation has started happening over the period of time. And I think education learning has made an impact. Also, women confidence is boosted because of they have started earning. Obviously, when you earn and when you have access to save other than your husband, other than your family, obviously you think about that where to save the money, where to invest. And in the last 2 3 years, the way the life uncertainties have happened due to pandemic COVID, every human being, including the child, has started thinking that I have to save a penny. How the woman will be indifferent to that? Woman has really started thinking seriously that they have to take charge of not only kitchen, not only their job, but they have to definitely be part of their family investment decision. And I think this is a trigger point, COVID, which has happened to the woman's psychology, and it has impacted every woman, whether it is rural, whether it is semi-urban, or whether it is urban. Everybody has started thinking due to uncertainties about their old age, their children's education, and everything. I think things are happening for better and things are changing for better.
All right. So as things improve, as say the investing revolution for women, it moves from tier one cities to a broader tier two, tier three, tier four area and to rural areas, what according to you are the three most important things that women must bear in mind while managing their finances, Nehal?
Fine. Very first important thing is that they have to set the goal. I think anybody and everybody who is investing, they have to really, really set a goal, because without goal, you cannot do the right investment. For what goal you're investing, it is so important. Whether it is day to day running, whether it is education of your child, whether it is a leisure, whether it is marriage, whether it is retirement, whether it is medical help. So first, you have to set a goal. Second thing is that you have to have a financial planning implemented for yourself and for your family. So you need to have a financial planner, advisor, distributor, a good fintech platform, any options. Options are multiply available to you today. And the third thing is that you have to have a patience in terms of growing that investment, and you have to review that investment over the period of time. So maybe you have to have a patience to hold the investment, and you have to have a patience to review the investment, maybe at least a quarterly or a 6 monthly. These three things will definitely create a wealth in a long term for you, and it will cater to the need of every need which you think of your mind, that whether it is medical, whether it is long term need, whether it is whatever that can be, but it will cater to your need. That is what I feel, that very, very important things. Again, I will just say one very important: goal setting. Second is financial planning, and third is review your investment. Be patient.
Absolutely. Goal setting is actually very, very
Absolutely,
important, especially
absolutely.
because what are you earning money for, right? That's the question.
Yes,
So at the end of the day, servicing of those goals has to take priority. And it's a very interesting time because the market itself has moved forward, right, Snehal, in terms of the
yes.
kind of investment products offered, the investment asset classes that are at play right now. So taking that forward, what are the kind of asset classes that women should invest in? And are these different from what, say, men would choose?
Uh, I would say it's a time of gender equality. The world is
Mm,
talking about gender equality. Okay, we are moving towards that. We are stepping up towards that. So, woman is stepping out for different things. I don't think so that there is any differentiation as far as a male and a female is concerned, as far as the investment is concerned. I think it is more about a family decision. It is more about a family risk appetite, and it is more about a family need, what caters to where one should invest for. Generally, the thumb rule says that 100 minus your age, you should invest into equity. But a person like me who is dealing with in the BFSI sector, in the capital market for so many years, I may wish to invest maybe 70-80% of my money into equity. But somebody maybe of my age, probably, okay, but maybe averse to the risk, may decide to invest into fixed income. So, therefore, as I've answered in the earlier question, that the goal setting and the financial planning is very important. Because when you do financial planning, you get to know that what is the risk appetite you have, and accordingly
mm,
you can take the decision, right? Because you know your goals, you know what is the requirement you have, maybe at the moment, maybe at your mid age, and maybe at the retirement age, and what is the returns you are expecting, right? If you're expecting 10 to 15% returns, or maybe more than that, then obviously you have to take a little higher risk, and you have to take support more of a equity. But if you are expecting moderate risk, and a moderate returns, which will just beat the inflation and you will get the returns, then maybe you can look at even the hybrid, which is a 50-50% kind of thing. Or you're totally risk averse kind of an investor, then probably you will look at a fixed income kind of a mutual funds, wherein the returns will definitely be little better than the inflation, but it may not be as high as equity. So depending on the
mm.
risk scale of 1 to 10, you have to decide that where you stand, and accordingly you should do your investments.
All right, point taken. And as to clarify, the question was asked from the point of view of, say, for younger investor, a younger woman
Right?
investor, versus say a middle-aged investor whose
Sure.
exposure to the investing universe is not as might not have been as extensive as the younger investor. But keeping that in
Sure.
mind, can you enlist some of the first steps in investment for someone, say, looking to make a start in the investment space? And I ask this question especially from the point of view of, say, a middle-aged investor who's just now
Sure.
starting their investment journey.
Fair. Okay. So what I feel is that, as I have said again, that when it is a scale of 100 minus your age, ideally is equity. But as you said, the investor is coming for the first time, and they want to have a seamless experience of investing and seamless experience of creating a wealth over the period of time. Probably the investment could be more towards the fixed income and less towards the equity. So when you start the investment, you can start with the hybrid mutual funds, okay, wherein there is a mutual fund which is a hybrid, which is more invested into the fixed income and less invested into the equity. So obviously, you when you have this combination, ideally, even if the market is tilting towards one side, over the period of time, the decent returns will be generated because of the portion of investment is heavily invested into fixed income and less portion of investment is invested into equity. So I would suggest, when a investor is entering first time into the market of investment, and age is maybe a mid age, ideally looking at their income and their requirement, they should look at the hybrid investment. That would be the ideal scenario, wherein you're not taking very high risk, you're expecting a moderate returns, and your capital could be secured because it is an investment which is into the fixed income as well, more into the fixed income and less into the equity.
All right. Let's also bring into the spotlight the broader issue of educating your child, whether it's a girl or a boy, about being financial literate. So, Snehal, your point of view on how families can educate young girls on the importance of being financially literate. Your thoughts?
Okay. So, when your child starts going to the kindergarten, I would say, the learning starts there itself. You know, you give your child something in the lunch box. Okay, you always tell child, eat carefully, share it. You know, keep something again, get back for your mom because your mom has given it to you. So you make that principle in your child of sharing and caring and taking care of that properly. Basis similar principle, you have to tell, you have to give a piggy box to your child from that age itself. And maybe you can start giving coins and 10 rupee notes to your kid, saying that you're saving this. Why you're saving this? Because you want to buy something, a good book, you want to buy a frock, you want to buy something, some sport material, and you will buy this from your piggy box. So actually, the roots should be from that level, because that is the level wherein a kid start thinking something different, learning something different about the positivity, about how the kid is looking at the world, and that's where the roots are there. And over the period of time, I think, as your family atmosphere is as on your lunch table, on your dinner table, you sit together, you should start talking about investment. What is the family investment? Who all your family members are? What is the role of father? What is the role of mother in the investment? I think all these small points cater to lot of learning for the young generation also. Maybe the generation is less than 18 also, they realize that there is importance of saving. Without saving, they will not be able to fulfill their needs and dreams also. Because how much
Mm.
ever rich you are, ideally to fulfill a dream, you need saving, you need saving, you need money, right? So I think it is a mix. There is a family decision which happens, the discussions which happens. And when the kid is 18 months, 18 years, probably you will start involving your kid, making the kids third holder, second holder, or nomination. Make them understand what is nomination. Open their bank account much earlier. Let them start operating the bank account. So these are very small things. But if any family member, which is
Mm.
your father and mother, are doing this very carefully, and in a disciplined manner, I think it will make lot of difference in the decision making. Whether that student goes for a science stream or a commerce stream or a art stream or an engineering stream or a doctor, but basic roots of understanding of savings, if are made very clear in the mind, I think a lot of things will change over the period of time. And I think that is
Absolutely.
very,
Very
very
important
important.
advice. Absolutely. And it has to start early on so that it becomes a sort of a normal part of thinking for the child, that while they think about their career, they also need to think about their finances broadly. And again, as you mentioned, in service of their goals, you might go into any stream, whether it's science or commerce or arts, you will have goals. And managing your finances goes a long way in mitigating some of the issues which comes when you might not have finances when you need it the most. So planning
Yes, see,
finances early on.
there are many banks, they give the student loan. Student
Mm,
should understand what is that loan is for, what is the interest rate, the family is paying. I think these are a lot of important things, not only on the investment side, but on the expenditure side also. Student have to learn a lot, because when you see the money, you spend the money, but you need to know the importance of the money. So, for any student, along with the investment, even the expenditure part to understand is very, very important and critical. Because when you know the expenditure, you will start earning more, because you know that that is
mm,
the insecurity. Expenditure you can't avoid, and for that you need to earn more and more income, and more a consistent income,
absolutely.
and you need to save and invest more.
Absolutely. That's another valuable investment level. Don't lesson. Don't spend more than you have in your pocket, because at the end of the day, it's
Absolutely.
about managing your finances, and it's a balance. But looking at it from a different situational perspective, Snehal, we have established our women who are earning, they're more aware of their finances and they're managing to. But what is your advice for those who are, say, on a career break due to maternity or other reasons? How do they approach this question of managing and investing?
So, okay. So, when a woman is on the career break, which is maybe because of the maternity leave, or it could be because of any other reason, okay. If it is a maternity leave, generally companies paying you your salary till the time, there is a 6 months or 1 year leave as per the company policy company does. Other than that, you have your leave. So, your salary actually is intact generally, unless and until you go beyond that, okay. So, if you see the couples nowadays, they everything they plan so well. Even a maternity is planned so well, so they know that what is going to be the expenditure and what is going to be the situation during this time. So accordingly, they plan it so well. So when it is a planned maternity, I don't think so that anybody who is on leave for that particular reason, they need any specific advice, because it is planned well, and they know the company policy where they're working. They know that they can take leave for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. If they want to take it thereafter, they may take, or they want to take a sabbatical, or it is a half paid leave. So they are mentally prepared for that, right? So that is not something which is, I feel that which is necessary, because they know it, that what is going to be the criteria, as far as they go on the long maternity leave. When it is a leave because of some other reason, it could be any other reason, it could be any other disease or any other family thing or whatever, and you cannot join the job, and you discontinue for some time maybe. At that time, the planning is very, very important, because at that time probably you don't get the income which you otherwise earn, but the expenditure continues, and you have to get into your savings, and you have to lose your savings or use your savings because of that. So I think for unplanned leave, you can't really do much, because it is totally because of some unplanned situation. What you have to do is that, maybe the situation is unplanned, but over the period of time, you have to ensure that how fast you can come to the normalcy, how you can reduce your normal expenditure, because maybe otherwise your expenditure have gone up because of the unprecedented situation, right? How you can reduce your leisure expenditure or whatever, and how fast you can come back to the work and put your extra hours or extra miles to earn more. This is for unplanned. But planned leave, I think, is well planned. They know that when they are going to join back, you don't see a lot of issues there. So this is what my take as far as any woman who is having gone on maternity. I think she is mentally prepared for the leave, and she's mentally prepared for the less or maybe the high expenditure and the less savings for that situation. So when you're mentally prepared, actually you don't get the pinch of that situation. If you're not mentally
Mm.
prepared, then you get into that negative situation, I feel.
That's a
So
fair point.
we have to
That's a
look at the situations and you have to take a call.
All right. And for, say, the younger demographic who's not as risk averse, who says, you know what, let me see how best my finances can go up, my investments can go up. What word of advice would you give them?
Uh, so for youngsters, I would say that for even youngsters, whether today youngsters go for multiple platforms, they because they want to ease, and from where they are, they just want to do the investment, and they read a lot. They read through a lot of social media handles. They chat a lot within their groups. They discuss a lot. They look at Twitter, Insta, different handles, and they make their opinions. So I would say that fine, you need to get the information from multi factors, because the social media is available in ample, and they give you different directions, they give you different thought processes. They may increase your risk appetite. They may change your approach towards investment. They may change your approach towards creating a wealth. Okay, but bottom line, you need to understand the products. So you may invest to any of the platform or through any distributor, but the very first thing is that you need to do the financial planning and the goal setting, because if you don't do that, how you will be able to create a wealth for long term, and for what purpose? So you need to know the purpose of investing by setting up a goal, and you need to know that why you are creating wealth and at what stages you need that wealth. So for that, the financial planning is important. So whichever asset class you invest, including cryptos, but you need to know that for what is the purpose behind that investment. Is the purpose is to make money only, or is to purpose is to create a wealth further and to utilize that wealth for different stages of your life. So if you want to create that purpose, you need to set the goal and you need to do the financial planning.
All right. Due diligence from the perspective of goals. That's the point
Absolutely.
coming in. And taking a point forward, which we mentioned earlier, you saw that, from the investment revolution has caught on in tier one cities. But the question is, what about women in rural areas? Because while the BFSI space, it has become increasingly digital after the pandemic, it is in some ways making it tougher for those rural women who don't have, say, access to banking infrastructure due to the absence of a smartphone or internet connectivity. So what investment options do they have, Snehal, to start their financial journey?
So I think still today, they have a financial options like bank fixed deposits, small
Mm,
savings, post office savings. Okay, because and maybe there are a lot of local patpedis, chit funds. They take support of. Unfortunately, fortunately, whatever. I don't want to comment on that, because that
mm,
is the way of option which they easily see there in the rural places. Okay, because what I feel is that even rural population, they are definitely saving money. It's not that they are not saving money, but they are saving money need based and not the goal based. Okay, because there is a child marriage, there is a child education, or whatever that could be the reason, they're saving money for that, or they want to build a small house in a village. Accordingly they will save the money, so they take a option of investing into the chit funds, investing into patpedis, investing into different company fixed deposits, into the bank FDs, into the postal savings. So these are the options, and these are I mean, at least a small savings and bank FDs are the options which they have experienced over the period of time by their generations, so they get into it. But if you really want to educate them as far as the capital markets and different products are concerned, yes, what is important for us, I feel, is that I think today every corporate, every organization have the CSR, right?
mm,
Under CSR or under investor education fund, how you can reach to the rural areas and how you can actually make them understand the simplicity of the different products which is related to the stock markets. See, today
mm,
the way they are investing into different products, which is a locally available products, I would say. Okay, even there is a risk, inherent risk, but they don't realize it because they invest into 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 100 rupees, 200 rupees, and suddenly they get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. I'm just giving an example, okay? So they see that money, they experience that money, they invest into gold, and they invest for 11 months, they get money for 12 months. So they see that actually. So for the self realization, they need to get that feeling that there is some other investment option which is available, and which will they will also fetch money likewise they are fetching money today. Here they don't realize suddenly what are the risks here in the local products
Mm.
which they invest, okay? But I think through CSR, you have to reach through a manpower, maybe the educated manpower, or maybe a lot of colleges, the last year or the second last year student should be given such projects, okay,
Mm.
wherein they will go to the villages. First, they should be financially literate, and they should be given a projects that you should cater. Whenever any MBBS doctor gets the project to work in the rural area for 2 years, the intention is the same, that whatever services or whatever learning you have done, you should use that services for the public interest. In a similar way, there is a need in the finance sector also for the finance student, that you should spend at least 3 to 6 months in some of the villages and to teach the rural population over there, to make them financial literate. Otherwise, this is a very difficult, but this is very important task. And I think we as a citizens and a lot of organization should take a different approach towards it.
All right, Snehal, as we look to conclude this conversation, what would be your message to the viewers, to the women viewers watching this special presentation? The mental blocks that stop them from taking charge of their finances. How can they overcome these mental blocks? Your summary view.
At ease, any woman is involved in her kitchen or her professional, okay? With the same ease, every woman need to get involved in the finance also. It is just not about signing the paper, but it is about what are you signing, what are you what is that the risk in the signing. Is there is any risk, or because it is just your family you are just signing without asking anything? So first lesson, that whenever we enter into kitchen, we take charge of kitchen. When we enter into office, when we are sitting on our table, we take charge of our table and of our job. Similar way, we need to understand the investment, and we need to take a charge of our investment along with our family members. We have to ensure, see, whether it is a personal, official, we do a bonding. We are experts in bonding, right? Relationships or any other thing otherwise. This is the same way we have to have an investment bonding within our family, and we should take charge of that. If we are able to take charge of that, I think a middle class family or a lower middle class family also can make much and more money and can create a wealth. So I think it is very important that women should involve, understand, and learn financial planning. And that is my
Take
message,
charge of
that
your finances. That's your
absolutely,
message.
absolutely.
All right, Snehal. That brings us to the end of today's discussion, and thank you for sharing your insights, Snehal. It's given us a new perspective on women and their financial journeys, and hopefully, the viewers watching this at home, they'll get some cues as to how they should approach their investment journey. At this point, I'd also like to thank ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund for partnering with us for today's session, and of course, thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Till next time, this is your host Gautam Srinivasan signing off. Have a great day.